Welcome back to the Arn Show here on the Four Horsemen Network. I'm Paul Bromwell, as always, joined by the Hall of Famer, the creator of the Spine Buster, the founding member of the Four Horsemen, and one of the toughest men to ever step in the ring. I'm talking about my partner, the enforcer, Arn Anderson. Arn, looking spelt. I like the hat look on you, man. Looking good.
Trying to do something to give those guys a shot in the arm. Got a rough year.
It has. We were talking a little baseball last episode on Ask Arn. I saw some folks on the YouTube channel putting some comments in. Hey, he gave some love to some teams, but I didn't hear anything about my New York Mets. Listen, Mets have a shot, and anything can happen. The playoffs, the way they have it. But I know, Arn, when you think about the Braves, it definitely disappointing season, injuries, and a lot of other things going on with that team right now.
Yeah, the quality guys that got hurt prior to the season and during the season, you can't overcome something like that. You know, they've had ups and downs. I think the biggest takeaway is every 2-1 game that they would win last year.
Yeah,
they lose 2-1. So
well, yeah.
Well, I mean, the pitch when you have a great pitching performance, you're not getting any support from your sticks.
Yeah.
It's tough.
You're preaching to the choir on that one with the team I support. Complete and utter garbage. But I tell you what, too, the Braves were also known to be that team, like you used to say, Paul, I can watch this team. They can be down this many runs and come the bottom of the ninth inning. They can come all the way back and win. And they were having years like that. And now, obviously, injuries and other things just not happening, and it's been difficult.
Well, I can still enjoy watching them, and
there you go, and support them.
I'm a huge fan.
There you go. Arn, you also look a little different this week because you don't have the headphones on your head anymore, and that's what allowing you to wear the ball cap, right? We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah, some burglar snuck in the house and changed the board around on my computer. I don't know what happened there, but I don't need the headset now, so I can represent.
I heard the burglar was a damn fine man, and whoever that was.
He claimed he was a damn good-looking man, so I don't know. His credibility got shot pretty quickly.
Right. But hey, listen, I love it. You're set up. I think the breathing thing and all that has been minimized. We got you set up there with a new mic, a new board. Don't need the headphones. And the only good thing, or should I say, I don't know if it's a good thing, is Aaron gets to hear the whole show now live through the house. So just through the speakers.
She's upstairs with the door shut with Smokey. So she's not going to listen to us bullshit. You kidding me?
That door can't be shut hard enough or sealed tight enough. Oh, man.
She's had 40-some years of it.
I love it. So good. Well, listen, tonight we're going to get into some things, and we'll get there in a minute. We're going to talk all things March 1996. As always, it's so great to see so many of you. I see the comments loading up. We're going to come over to you. We're going to get all your questions and comments in. We're going back to March 1996 in the WCW timeline. The Monday Night War is still in the early stages, and you got guys like Diesel, Razor Ramon, Bret Hart. They're leading the charge, but there's some changes coming down the pike with them and free agency when you talk about Diesel and Razor Ramon. But we're also going to talk about the most over-the-top pay-per-view, maybe in company history, Arn, Uncensored 96. We're going to get into that cage match, if you will.
Do we have to?
Oh, I even got a picture of Arn and his full gear, sweats and all. We'll show that later in the Doomsday Cage Match.
Number one, our listeners get the truth from me. Sometimes whether it's the right thing or not, or a popular thing, they get the truth. It's the only way you can have any credibility. And there has to be a time where you just go, you know what? That was a huge mistake. That made no sense. I've watched back the match several times, and it just no rhyme or reason. Nothing was thought through. And when you shake and shake and shake the tree and no apples fall out, you figure out you've been in the wrong tree. That was terrible. Horrible.
WCW was in the wrong tree for that event. So we'll have fun. We'll talk about it and we'll get into all that. But before we do, I want to catch up with you on some time that we spent together down at the Gathering. T-Mart Promotions, hell of an event. What a great time in Charlotte, the convention, the dinner. You were honored and recognized with a Lifetime Achievement Award, as were others, but you ended up being the main event, as you should be. It was a great time. Talk to us about that weekend and what that was all, how that was for you, and how special that dinner and that banquet and that recognition was for you. Bill Apter bringing you up to the stage.
Top to bottom, first class treatment all the way. Fans I know had a great time. You know, we were there 3 full days, and just getting to see so many people from so many walks of life that finally, you know, we got in the same room and we could talk and shoot the breeze and sign some stuff and take some pictures. And, you know, that's a first class show every year he has. I don't know if he runs any other shows a year, but he does a great job with that one. Marty. Who would name their kid Marty? Jesus Christ. That's your
Best line of the night.
Only hitch I see in that. So I just want to thank them for having me. Great having you there. And I know you got to meet some people you hadn't met before and get some stuff signed for your own wall of fame. And it was a great week. I enjoyed spending time with you, my man.
Dude, I had a blast spending time with you and Aaron. I got to talk with CW and Brittany, got to know them. They were so kind and nice. It was awesome. And let me tell you, with CW and Brock doing their thing, what a tag team. But don't you got to watch out for Miss Brittany out there. I mean, listen, I saw the matches that night. CW was kicking ass and taking names, but she's somebody. If you're gonna mess with her man or Brock, she's out there and she's not afraid to throw a good chokehold on somebody or mix it up. Listen, what a formidable tag team and what just great people, man. Just love getting to know them.
Ditto that. Great folks. CW again, I mention him every chance I get as a great mentor, great human being, tremendous performer, and Brock is really benefiting from their alliance.
If you're not following them on social, follow them both. Check them out. You can find them on Instagram and Twitter and support them as well. Get the t-shirts, get all their merch. And you know, listen, these folks, Brock and CW, Brittany, all of them are on the road, and they're on the road for the fans, and they're busting their asses, doing a great job. And so, man, it was really cool to see them. So let's take care of them as well. I really had a lot of fun when Heath Slater came over. He and you and D'Lo Brown were talking some of the good times as well, sharing some fun stories. We don't have to get into any of them in particular here on the show tonight, but it was just a great time all around.
Absolutely. And, you know, they're on the road this weekend coming up. Mount Airy is this coming Saturday. Brock is actually wrestling his mentor, Lodi.
Yeah, let's get into it. He's taking on Lodi on Saturday, this Saturday, as we watch now. And then on Sunday, speaking of CW and Brock, Greensboro, North Carolina, Four Seasons Town Center, August 17th, again, this Sunday. Showtime's at 2:30, and they're taking on, as you can see, Beer City Bruiser and a hardcore legend, Tommy Dreamer. That's pretty cool, Arn.
That's a big match. And in Brock's, you know, checklist, this is one of the bigger matches he's been in. Tommy Dreamer, tremendous performer, asset to the business, veteran, been around for a long time. Should be interesting. Be a learning experience for Brock for sure.
If you're in the area, go support them. Check it out. Tell them Arn and Paul sent you, and I'm sure you'll be highly entertained. It'll be a great night.
Town Center is the location.
That's it right here. As you can see, Four Seasons Town Center, showtime 2:30. So make sure you check it out. I want to talk about one more thing. And listen, you know what I also love and enjoy sometimes reading the YouTube comments. There are actually people, well, maybe an individual or two, they go through and they sit there and they time code us. They finally got to the main topic at 17:43. Listen, part of this show is Arn and I catching up. Hell yeah, we're going to do a little shilling. and talking about where you can find stuff and buy some. But that's what the podcast does. We can advertise appearances. We can sell some merchandise as well, which is great and helps Arn, and his wife and the family. And then we also talk a little history. So if you don't necessarily want to watch this, then we thank you for those who are time coding us out over there. But I want to share something as well, and that is finally in the store, the hardcover comic books have arrived. We only had about 80 left, Arn. You hand sign, bottom left picture, you can see on the screen, every single one of the 80 that were left. In Charlotte, me and you had a little system set up. We worked together. I was handing them to you, and you were signing, and I got a picture. That picture will accompany the book. But Arn, once they're gone, they're gone. We've already sold 10 of them. So there are 70 left, and they're going to go quick, but there are no other hardcover covers made. And I guarantee you, not with your signature on them, but man, what an opportunity for our fans and listeners.
That's a unique copy. It's the not hardcore, but it's the hard copy.
Yeah,
and
the hardcover copy. Yep.
There will not be another publishing of those.
Yep.
There will be paperbacks available after that, but these are 80 unique ones. So get one of the 80, guys.
Yeah, that's it. They made them for the Kickstarter campaign, and that was it. They never really became open to the public. So we got our hands on the vault copies, and now they're exclusively available to you for horsemanshop.com. Search collections, Arn Anderson. It's at the top of the page. And again, just off of one social media post, 10 have already sold. And so we really appreciate you supporting Arn in that way. And what an awesome piece of memorabilia to have. His signatures on it, his stories inside of it, in a unique, fun way. So what a really, nice piece of Arn merchandise to have and add in your collection.
Well said.
All right. Well, hey, with that said, let's go to some comments. I want to go to comments before we get into storytelling and asking some questions, because we have some folks here with us. Our normal crew is here. The boss kicks it off. He's here and he's asking some questions. We'll jump into some of those questions, boss. I see you there. We'll dig in. Darth Payne says, hey, guys, I believe AA said he wasn't a big fan of the Bunkhouse Stampede matches. Was this just as bad? Sorry, missed you guys at the gathering. He wants to know if the Bunkhouse Stampede was worse on that or this Dungeon of Doom cage match. What was worse for you?
My gripe with this one is when you shake it all out and everything's said and done, what did you just see? And you saw 2 guys beat about 10 guys. Now, let me just ask our listening audience, are you going to buy that? You're going to go for that? There are certain achievements that baby faces have to make. They have to overcome, set goals, let the audience get behind them and help them reach those goals. But when you got 8, 9, 10 people and 2 people, all you end up doing, it's just my opinion, is you may turn the audience on you that that's just a little bit too much Superman shit to be believable or credible, and you would lose, I think, and I was in there with them. I think after a certain amount of time, it's like, come on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Listen, and we'll dig into all that. The Doomsday Cage match. It's I can't believe I sat there and watched the entire thing last night, but I did it for you and for this entire show tonight.
So did I. It wasn't easy.
It was not easy, guys. I wouldn't be lying if I said
I will be as honest as I can with our fans. There's no way to go back and rationalize that as being a success. It's terrible.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I hit pause just to see how much was left in the time. A few times as I went through that pay-per-view. But hey, they kicked it off with a hell of a match, though. Eddie Guerrero was tearing it down in the opener. We'll talk all about the matches to get into it. A couple more questions, and then we'll jump into the show. Mediocre Warrior, one of my longtime friends. I appreciate one of my questions being highlighted on Facebook. Obviously, Paul has some stroke there since I'm the president of his fan club. Love you, Mediocre Warrior. Efren, Arn. He just yells Arn. Efren's here. Andrew Hermes. You got to see Andrew, our research guy down in Charlotte. He says, Philadelphia surging right now. Mets don't have a shot in the playoffs. But Milwaukee, best record in baseball. That's what I'm saying. It's anybody. They're not
That's
a big
little
market
shocking.
team.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, the Braves just got a series with them, and I was shocked to hear they were had the best record in baseball. I don't watch just baseball. It's just strictly the Braves, unless they're not owned. But I didn't know that. That was a bit of a shocker.
Man, a couple other questions. Rob Hissam, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. CG, I was a mere 26 years old in March 1996. LOL. Scotty Reed, Arn, love the show. Thank you for being a hero to us. I'm still promoting Hershey's with almonds to all my customers. LOL. That's very kind of you, Scotty. Love it.
That's a good choice.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yes. So glad you said that, Rob Hissam. Paulie, Spotify finally had the past 3 episodes posted today. Our man, and we have a team of people that help us with this show, Arn, as you know. We have Marcus D'Angelo helping us with socials and graphics. Dirty Dom D'Angelo. I'm sure you all know who he is, okay? Host of the Magnum and Greg Gagne podcast, RVD, and so many others. He's our guy when it comes to YouTube and getting the shows on Spotify and Apple. Dirty Dom reached out today and said, Paulie, you can promote the hell out of it tonight. The shows will be going forward updated on time, audio wise, in Spotify and Apple. So make sure you hit it hard tonight on the show. Rob Hissam just reminded me of that. So there you go, guys. We want to make sure our YouTube audience is taken care of, as well as our audio only listeners. It's very convenient, Arn, for people to turn it on their phones, put it in their earbuds when they're working, traveling, whatever the case may be. So thank you for bringing
it makes it easier. Good, I'm all for.
You're all for it. I love it. Let's see. Chris Orlando loves it. Listen, guys. Yeah, they're talking about I used to get a hard time back in the day. I don't nearly get a hard time as I used to. It's a lot of love and a lot of support. Mediocre warrior. And I think now it's just like the little things that I'm like, well, there's a reason we got to go through and talk about merch, and we got to talk about appearances. And that's part of the reason, Arn, you love connecting with the audience, is to make sure they're aware of where they can see you and Brock and things like that. So it's really all good.
Well, it's a partnership.
That's right.
I do this for those guys, and be able to, the main benefit I get from it, like you said earlier, is I can let people know where we're going to be live and what events we're going to be at. And that's what I get from this. I get some of your guys that come down and meet you in person. And it's mostly for you guys, and we try to make it fan friendly and as interesting as we possibly can. As far as I know, nobody else is running through their entire 40-year career week after week in succession.
I don't think anybody else, maybe they tried it, but has stuck to this model, and then giving the fans a voice, like, once a week, maybe. But I really enjoy that we do this, Arn, with you. And I think it's great. Last question, then we'll jump into the story, what we're here for at the 18-minute mark. And that is, what did you think from Ryan Nodal of the Braves and Reds playing in Bristol, Tennessee on a racetrack? Didn't that scream Americana? Did you get to check out any of that game? Because I know it was delayed, and then they had to do it the next day, right? Something happened with the weather.
Yes, sir. I watched it. I certainly did. Sad to see the rain out, because I know that what all's involved in that. What about all the people that had to go to work the next day and couldn't come back? The money they spent in hotels that now I got to buy another round, all those things that you never know is going to happen. You roll the dice when you have outdoor shows. I know something about that. And once the weather becomes the factor, you can't do anything about it. But I thought it was cool. It's a great look. Cool. A lot of people, I'm sure they all had a great time just being a part of something that it's the first. How many times you get to be part of something that's the first?
It's just a cool experience. And for us, I know you feel the same way I do. It's cool to be able to watch it from our home living room in the air conditioner and enjoy it that way. But visually, it's stunning to see something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ryan, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that in the chat. You know what you're talking about. But Rob Hissam, I said I was last question, but I can't help myself. He said, I'll take 10 books. Rob?
Sold.
You got it, buddy. We'll have them packaged up. And you know who literally, we are the fulfillment. Me and my dear wife are the fulfillment side of these books right now. So we will package them specifically for you, buddy. 10 books coming your way. Love it. Arn, you ready to get into March 1996? I think are the folks here are. You ready for this?
I'm sure I'm going to enjoy talking about the rest of the card other than the main event, which once again blew.
Well, listen, we got a few things to talk about besides just Uncensored. So you're safe there. The first big story, February 96, ended with one of the most memorable moments of the year, the infamous I Respect You Booker Man deals, Super Brawl 6 between Pillman and Sullivan. But midway through that match, Pillman breaks character. He does that. He walks out. And shortly after, he convinced Eric Bischoff to give him a legitimate release from his contract. We all know this history, but again, we're reliving the career and talking through this. Bischoff has always claimed that it was part of the plan for Pillman to take his loose cannon persona to the other promotions, get even hotter, and then return to WCW with major heat. But then within weeks, Pillman Arn is at ECW CyberSlam, cutting one of the most unhinged promos of the decade. He calls Bischoff a gopher and a piece of shit. His words, not mine. He called the ECW crowd smart marks. He threatened to expose himself in the ring before Todd Gordon, Paul Heyman, this is real, Arn, and Shane Douglas pulled him out of the ring. I mean, when you said you were honest in your opinion a few weeks back that you just didn't know what to be real and what to be a shoot versus what was part of him just selling or whatever, you weren't lying. I mean, he went nuts on this ECW crowd.
And we will never know which was a work, which was a shoot. Because just when you think you got a grasp on it and you go, well, that can't possibly be something that was planned. This has got to be off the cuff. Something else would happen and it'd go another direction. And it just, I want to think, well, okay, why wouldn't they cut his mic, cut the camera off of him? Because it's got people talking. I mean, how do you argue? How do you argue with that? It's one of those things like breaking news, So and so got bombed or whatever the breaking news would be, something, meteoric.
Yeah, something that makes everybody pause and look and say, what in the world's going on? Is this real? Is this true? Whenever you sit down and question, is this real or is this part of the deal? If that moment in time, you've won as a wrestler.
Yeah. That's what we try to do is convince them that, what we do is absolutely what they're looking at. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing, but it's what you try to do is tune them in. There's that believability, and then there's the unbelievability, and you got to figure out what you're going for.
It's mind-boggling though to believe, and not saying that he's wrong, but that Bischoff, because he's always insisted this was his entire plan. Let Brian go, do his thing, wrestle for other promotions, get crazy. I mean, it's pretty risky from a business standpoint to give a legitimate release to a guy who's catching fire with this character, especially with the Monday Night War that's heating up. And all of a sudden to say, hey, you go do this, and then, I'll let you walk and then come back. I mean, honestly, if Pillman had stayed in ECW with Paul Heyman cutting promos like this and the juice behind him, he could have become the face of ECW or whatever the case. You just never know what could happen. So interesting times, my man.
Yeah. And, Eric's a smart guy. Maybe he thought, if I let him go and he goes out, if he does what we talked about, good. If he doesn't, well, he's gone. I have no obligation and there's no risk. Because, hey, and that time, that was pretty risky TV.
Hell yeah.
Turner people, cracked the whip on a lot of stuff. Standards and practices, they kept a pretty good short leash on us.
Mediocre Warrior, interesting comment too. And to think Ole Anderson thought he was the drizzling shits. Man, you just can't put a stamp on people like that without giving them a runway and giving them an opportunity. He went from the Bengal tight wearing, smiling, long blonde hair, pretty boy, jumping off the top rope, coming down the rocket from Def Leppard, to all of a sudden completely morphed into this crazy loose cannon, and he made it work.
Oh yeah, he pulled it off. I still don't know, and we'll never know.
Yeah. Big Fezzik is right. I think Ole thought everyone was the drizzling shits. He did, didn't he?
He thought I was.
Yeah,
Why
right.
you do? I can't tell you how many times I would tag him in, and as we were stepping through the ropes, he'd go, "Why are you taking all those goofy ass bumps?" Same response every time. Somebody got to fall down.
I love it. I love it. That's a classic line.
And a lot of times he would just look at me and smile and drop his head.
Yeah, he didn't want it to be him. Okay, Arn, you take the bumps.
Yeah, he knew I was right. He was.
Yeah,
He wasn't going to admit it, but he knew I was right.
Let's move on. March 5th, 1996, also in the headlines. And I know all of you are aware of this, but Kevin Nash picks up the phone, calls Vince McMahon, and he lets him know, I'm leaving WWF. At the time, the belief in the industry, Arn, was that WCW had offered him a 3-year deal. Listen, worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $750,000 a year with the favored nations clause, meaning no one in WCW could sign for more money than him. Scott Hall had already given his notice on February 20th. And while he hadn't officially accepted the offer, everyone knew he's going to make the jump too. What a time this would become in March here for WCW.
Where their finances were, included. They're two of the smartest guys that have ever been in the business. They pulled it off. Got to respect that. Timing was everything. It was done in a way that looked credible and believable. And good for, my thought then, the same thing now, good for them.
Do you remember hearing about Nash and Hall coming over to the company? Obviously, we saw how they debuted, Hall coming down the walking down the steps in the crowd and taking over and all that. But do you remember first hearing, hey, they're both coming in?
Nope. I saw it and heard about it when everybody else did.
Oh, wow.
It was kept pretty good under wraps.
Let's talk about the big money deals, the guaranteed contracts. How did these change the whole wrestling business? Because it did. It changed the business.
It helps everybody.
Yeah.
They set the pay scale and everything fell underneath that. And as a talent, you had a gauge. Okay, here's what the top guys are making. You could get a clue about what the bottom guys were making and where you fit in the middle of that sliding scale. It helped. And guaranteed money in our business from a guy that worked when it was, if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. For me, it was just, it was like job security. So they helped everybody by setting the pay scale and coming across and getting the deal that they got.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm watching some of the chat go back and forth. Guaranteed contracts weren't new because of them, right? Because didn't the Road Warriors or Lex Luger, who was it that first in the late 80s?
But on a grand scale.
Yeah.
There were some guys like Luger and the Road Warriors that got guaranteed after we left. I think the Midnight Express for a short time got guaranteed. But by and large, for the average Joe, and that would be me, and all the other guys that made up the crew, that was everybody didn't have guaranteed money.
You have got to be, or I want to hear how you felt about it. How did you feel too? Was this, hey, listen, I'm loving what Bischoff's doing. He's being aggressive, bringing these two top WWF stars in. We got it. We're doing you now saw, hey, they're doing everything. Bischoff's doing everything he can to close the gap, if not take over the notoriety, the popularity from the WWF, right? I mean, the aggressiveness here.
Well, he got a jump start. The thing that, that was the big turning point worked. And when it works, the momentum that he built, and as far as the office above him, there was something he could point to and go, look at this, look at what the ratings did this week or last week, or my God, man, give me a little rope here and I won't hang myself. I'll get this thing turned around. And he was right.
And you got to believe he's using the examples of Hogan and Savage, and look at the lift we've got bringing over those guys. What do you think's going to happen if we bring over these two fresh faces? Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the story was credible. You started, I was even questioning myself, how are we going to have two guys actually hijack the company for any length of time. You got everybody else that would just squash them. Well, the way was they had baseball bats, and that's the great American equalizer. You know, once they showed up with the weapons and they were able to hit and run and escape and get away with it, it was plausible.
And it was the first time we ever saw two people come into a company like that with that level of popularity, like coming in from the
top guys.
Yes. Yeah. It was different. It was cool. It was fresh, and they were stars, and it worked, man. It was so good. Let's talk about coming out of Super Brawl. So we have that going on, Nash and Hall behind the scenes. We talked about Pillman. Let's talk about WCW's creative direction, because let's just say it's a little busy here. You beat Hogan, which we talked about twice in a row, and that's a rare thing in itself. The Dungeon of Doom and the Four Horsemen formed an alliance to end Hulkamania. And guess what it's titled? The Alliance to End Hulkamania. It was set as the main event of Uncensored. The creative genius was just flowing here. But then right before the show, Jimmy Hart pulls Loch Ness Monster, the Loch Ness, out of the match and replaces him with Lex Luger. The on-screen reason was simple booking, but the real-life reason, Arn, I don't even know that you know this or we've talked about it. It's actually more serious. Loch Ness, real name Martin Ruan, and he had actually been diagnosed with lymphoma. Outside the ring, Arn, he was a religious man. He refused to wrestle on Sundays. He claimed to eat 3 pounds of bacon and a dozen eggs every morning to maintain his strength. 3 pounds of bacon and a dozen eggs every morning.
How'd that work out for him?
I mean, that's why the man was massive. But I can't even imagine after pound 2, just keep cooking. Oh, he's going to have one more. And every day? What are we doing?
Well, you don't want to make fun or anything, say anything crass about a man that's no longer with us, obviously.
Yeah.
That does not sound like the answer. I mean, he had to be 500 pounds, and he was
big man, massive
really,
man.
really tall, right?
Getting a lot of protein.
You know, he was a big guy, that's for sure. And he was imposing. I think he had a big career over in Europe. Regal told me about the guy, and I guess he drew a lot of money.
And Mediocre Warrior goes, nowadays, that's about $100 breakfast. And you aren't lying, man, with the price of eggs and meat right now. Oh, man.
Good call.
Yeah, that's so good. Listen, you're right. Good guy. Listen, he had 3 sons. He married his childhood sweetheart. They all went on to work construction, but I wanted to share this with you because, again, this is March 1996. They pulled him out because he's diagnosed with lymphoma. Arn, he passes away November 1998, just 2 short years later. After watching him face the Giant, he passed away 52 years old in Greater Manchester. So for those that kind of wondered what happened with Loch Ness, what happened, they made the change in the match, kind of faded away, went back to his country and all those types of things. Do you ever remember meeting him? Because again, this is a short-lived stint in WCW.
I don't know that I was ever in close proximity to even meet him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
I may have, but I just don't recall it.
Yeah, he had a fun little interaction with Gene, Mean Gene, guys. If you go back and watch this pay-per-view, which I dare you to do it, you should. Yeah, it's fun. Listen, you can find great matches. You're going to see Conan and Eddie Guerrero tear down the house in the opener and some other great matches. But you'll see it. Gene having an interview with him. You could tell the guy had some dental issues going on, and so Gene just hits right on it. Loch Ness, can I help to tell you about my dentist that I have? And of course, when they come off the screen, Heenan can't help himself. He's got to chime in with Gene, whoever Gene's barber is. He should fire him. It was just fun rhetoric going back and forth, and really enjoyable to see Heenan and Mean Gene up to some of their tricks with some of their jabs.
Hey, those 2 guys could, sorry to interrupt you, those 2 guys could heckle me and browbeat me all they want. That's how good they were.
The crazy part is, Arn, you'd have to go back and watch it to hear some of the jabs. You had no idea what they were saying about you while you're out there wrestling.
Yeah. I got a feeling I did okay with Gene and Heenan, but maybe not.
He cracked the Mean Gene said something about Robert Fuller pacing around so much you'd think he's going to soil himself. Don't soil yourself. And I knew that was a throwback line to when he did actually shit his pants a few months earlier. So now, Mean Gene's got that one in his back pocket. He's just being a smart aleck.
Yes.
Oh,
these
so
guys
good.
were so entertaining. Miss them both.
So good. Before the pay-per-view goes live, we're at Uncensored. And I'm going to come to you guys for questions. So start making sure you get them all in. Super chat is available as well. And we appreciate the support there. Before it goes live, it's Tupelo, Mississippi. You remember any thoughts or memories of Tupelo?
Short drive from Memphis.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, we were driving down there, and just by coincidence, Mongo was in a rent-a-car. I was in another rent-a-car. I had a Cadillac. He had like a Mustang or something. And that road is pretty desolate between those two, from the airport in Memphis to Tupelo. We kind of raced a little bit, 120, which I do remember about that. I remember it was a very small town. Real easy to find your way to the building and navigate. And was always one where you never stayed there. You would always go back to Memphis. I think it's maybe 70 miles, something like that.
Tupelo, Ryan just shared in the chat, the birthplace of the king, Elvis Presley. So there you go.
Yeah, and I'm sure we recognized that at the time. I just didn't come to mind right now, but
mine either. I had no idea. So thank you for sharing.
That's a hell of a claim to fame.
So they gave us a couple matches before the card kicks off. And remember, this is about a 2-hour and 45-minute pay-per-view. 4 matches. You got JL, who's Jerry Lynn, under a mask, beat Dean Malenko in a cruiserweight tournament. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, beats Big Bubba, who, by the way, it was great to see Ray Traylor's wife and daughter in Charlotte, by the way. Such sweet people.
Yes, sir.
Dick Slater beat Alex Wright. And then the Steiner brothers, before the pay-per-view, defeat the Nasty Boys. Arn, the Steiners had just made a surprise return to WCW 2 weeks earlier on Nitro. And listen to the tag team division. You got Harlem Heat, Nasty Boys, Public Enemy, the Blue Bloods, the Steiners, Legion of Doom, American Males, Faces of Fear. The list goes on. Talk about the talent in the tag team division at this point for WCW. It's pretty strong.
Well, when you run through it like that, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid group of folks. Getting the Steiners back was a huge shot in the arm. Can't even gauge what a shot in the arm it was, but it's huge. Road Warriors, huge. Every one of those teams were either had something gimmick-wise that made them fun to watch, or just a good, solid team. I mean, there wasn't a bunch of the people you just named.
And you had variety, right? You think the Blue Bloods, right? That's technicians working together as a tag team. And then you go to the other extreme, the Public Enemy, who are just as entertaining and fun in their own way, and the Nasty Boys. Then you come over and you got the Steiners. Oh, what about Legion of Doom? I mean, power and suplexing. You got it all covered.
Loaded.
Yeah, loaded. They did make their return, and in this match, as I mentioned, they took on the Nasty Boys. This is even before the pay-per-view starts, and it was a no contest. You had the Road Warriors run in, and then when you got the pay-per-view starting, here are your commentary team: Tony Schiavone, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and Bobby Heenan. Arn, what do you think of that combination in the booth? Schiavone, Heenan, and Dusty Rhodes.
Tony was a straight man, Dusty was Dusty, and Bobby Heenan was Bobby Heenan. That's like an all-star card.
They really do a good job, and I really enjoyed Heenan and Dusty's banter and play off of one another.
Yes.
Heenan played off of everyone so well, whether it's Gorilla Monsoon, Tony Schiavone, Dusty Rhodes. It didn't matter who you paired Heenan with, man. He was outstanding.
He's the quickest, sharpest, wittiest guy I've ever known. And it was just automatic. No matter what you said to him, he had to come back, even if it was completely off subject. It's amazing, actually.
He was a gem. So let's talk about the card. Tupelo, Mississippi, 9,000 in attendance, 7,300 of them paid. And we mentioned it. Conan successfully defends the U.S. title against Eddie Guerrero in a match that went over 18 minutes. The ending was weird in my estimation. He went to jump over him. Eddie Guerrero looked like he was going to give him a Frankensteiner, and Conan headbutts him in the groin. Eddie goes down, and that's a quick pin of 3, and that's how a classic match ends, which is kind of a weird way to end it. But man, very enjoyable, entertaining match. I'm going to tell you about the next match though, that and it might not be the exact, because it was the Booty Man and DDP also wrestled in there, and I'm going off memory. But Steven Regal and Fit Finlay beat the living hell out of each other in a European style brawl. Arn, I have not seen hard hitting like that from like Fit Finlay was delivering to Steven Regal. Like, it was insane.
Before he ever came to work for WCW, Terry Funk, we were out by the ring one day, WCW event, and I asked him what he'd been doing. He said he just got back from Europe, and he said, there's a guy there, Arn, Fit Finlay, who's the best heel in the business, bar none. I'd never heard of the guy. And I looked at Terry and went, that's pretty strong coming from you, Terry. He says, I'm telling you, this guy is so different, so innovative, so vicious. He's the best heel in the business. And he wasn't kidding. Finlay did so much stuff that was different, and it was just snug, tight, no holes in his work, thought process, mentality, psychology, name it. He was just great. And to this day, you probably go out and outwork 8/10 of the people in the business.
It was incredible. And not only Fit Finlay and the match he had, because man, he was throwing blows as soon as the match started. Regal gets busted open at one point, by the way. There's blood, which you never really saw that much. And then there was kind of a schmaz ending. Sir Earl of Eaton came down, and I think Dave Taylor ran down, interfered, and the match just kind of went to a schmaz. But you want to talk about, and I just saw someone's comment, was this street fight, Aaron Phipps, was better than most UFC fights. Oh, it was a thumping. And so it was, what a great match. If you go back and watch that, let's talk about another match, someone else that you just got to share a moment with in Charlotte and talk to a little bit. There was a male versus female, an intergender match that happened all the way back in 96. Medusa versus Colonel Robert Parker. Parker wins because he's got some help from the outside, getting someone tripping Medusa. She falls over and she gets pinned to the 3. But Medusa was doing suplexes and some great moves. What a badass Medusa is, man.
I'm scared of that woman.
I knew you.
Matter of fact, you and I took a picture with her, right? We put online.
We did.
I was a nervous wreck. Tough lady. She came along at a time that she was a legitimate athlete. She did some MMA stuff, I think, in her training. Just, fit, in shape, tough. She's like one of the guys.
She calls me the hat guy. She's done it on social media before. So when I saw her, I was like, hey, it's the hat guy. Listen, she is cool. She was threatening you with a shoe. Or what was the story that she was bringing up to you again about the shoe deal? Oh, yeah.
We were doing promos during the day down at CNN Center. Bobby and I and her, she was managing us at the time, Dangerous Alliance. And there was a gym in the CNN Center that I was going to, between our promos and having to be at TV at a certain time, I was going to run over there and get a quick workout. I had it timed out. Me and Bobby are getting coffeed up. We asked Tony to go on first with our promos, so everything was falling in line. So we did all of our local promos, got done, fixing to leave. Tony went, wait a minute. Oh, Arn, wait a minute. You guys, hold up a minute. They got one promo that they want to do, and they want Medusa to talk. Okay. Now I'm vibrating from the caffeine into coffee and ready to work out. She started, and about 10 promos later and 30 minutes, cut. Let's do it again. Bless her heart. She probably hadn't had a lot of experience doing promos at that time, but I was just being me. being the horse's ass, I just went, you know what, Medusa? Women are like kids. They should be seen and not heard.
Oh, no.
She turned into a she-devil. What did you say to me? She reached down, pulled off one of her shoes, and she's coming out from around the podium. And I went, whoa, wait, hey, hold up, wait a minute. And out of the corner of my eye, I see Bobby folding a metal chair and coming up behind her. And I went, Deuce, I was just kidding. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to be disrespectful. I apologize. Please accept my apologize. Sorry. Accept my apology. You know, and she's starting to cool down, and Tony said, we'll just take that one. That's a wrap. We'll use that one. And as we're walking out of there, I looked at Bobby. I said, what the hell were you going to do with that chair? He said, I was going to hit her in the head with it if she got you down.
Oh, it's so
My
good.
God, Bobby.
So good. Medusa, it was so good to see you in Charlotte. And hey, maybe she'll be down at WrestleCade. Who knows? We'll see.
I'm sure she will. It's always good to see her. That was a funny story we've shared over the years.
There you go.
Terrified awesome. She was going to kick the shit out of me.
I love all the comments too. People talking about her climbing the cage at War Games, and Rob has some rumor and innuendo is that she only fears trash cans. I love it. Listen, let's move on because we still got a lot to talk about. We're at 45 minutes, and we got Darren Staley, a super chat. I see you here, Darren. We're gonna get to your question. The Giant squashes Loch Ness. All right, so he gives him the big boot, a big leg, 2.5 minutes, pins Loch Ness. Now, because he wins that, he also wins a title shot against Ric Flair the next night on Nitro. And then you have Sting and Booker T. They took on the Road Warriors in a Chicago street fight, Arn. That went nearly 30 minutes. They brawled all over the building. And after that match came one of your career highlights. Guys have been waiting to put it up on the screen. It's the infamous Doomsday Cage Match with our man in the black sweatpants and sweatshirt, hands taped, eye to eye again with Hogan, which, my goodness, you wrestled him a lot in this couple months that we've done this show together as far as February and now March. Arn, talk about it. You're on the third tier of the Doomsday Cage. How confident were you, my first thought, that this thing would actually hold you guys?
It was a thought. And let me tell you that the reason I had on all the clothes was that particular wire that they got had a lot of rough edges. And as you can see, the way it was constructed, there was a lot of screws and stuff sticking out. I knew my body was going to get caught up and abused. I just was trying to put a little bit of padding on to keep from scraping myself up. If you look at behind me, it was just a weird construction. There was a lot of rough edges, a lot of planks that weren't even. It was dangerous. I mean, that part of it was legitimate. It was very dangerous.
Buddy, and people in the chat are saying it too. There's no way you could pay me enough to wrestle around up there that high, just knowing that all that's holding you up is that chain link fencing.
Well, go back to the Undertaker and Foley. You saw what happened when he took a choke slam on top of the cage. He went all the way through to the floor. You know, that kind of stuff happens. You can't prepare for it. It was what it was. It was a dangerous night, and we were all, or at least the guys I talked to, were aware of the potential danger.
Now, here's my question for you, because nowadays a lot of that, before belt, they get out to where the arena that they're going to wrestle at. They do a walkthrough. Do you remember anything on that day? If there was any kind of walkthrough in the cage, all of you up there, anything like that?
Not that involved me. I don't like heights. I wasn't going to go out there, but it was the one time I had to.
So your first time up to the top of that cage was the night of that event when they called your name, and you and Rick and Woman and Elizabeth, they went up as well, but there was scaffolding where they could get down because there were cameramen up on the scaffolding to record. But man, you never went up there.
No, I'm serious. I have a phobia about heights. I could never get up on the roof of my house to do nothing, because once you get up there, man, it kicks in on me. Trying to back down a ladder off of a big house, It's no fun. It's not for me anyway.
You have Hogan and Savage. That's it. Just the two of them. You all have watched it. I'm watching you talk about it here in the chat. Against 8 heels. Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Ming, the Barbarian, Lex Luger, rest in peace, Kevin Sullivan. I love you. Z Gangsta, and the Ultimate Solution. Do you remember who Z Gangsta was?
Was that Zeus?
It was Zeus. You win. Yes. From the movie No Holds Barred. Z Gangster was Zeus.
Tiny Lister, I believe, was his
Yes, that's it.
name. Yeah, he didn't bring much to the table for what we did.
He always had the big, across the eyes and then the shots down to the traps in the back. That was his gimmick.
And it went downhill from there.
And then it was done. And then it was over. Oh, man. So listen, only in WCW could you take 8 guys, put them in 3 cages, stack them on top of each other, and still have the rules make less sense than a Booty Man storyline. It was just bad. And for those keeping record, as we said, Z Gangster was Zeus. And if you're wondering whether WCW could out-cartoon itself, well, the answer is yes. The Ultimate Solution had just been renamed from the Final Solution, by the way, and thankfully someone realized that was a terrible name to put on a pay-per-view poster. So now you have the Ultimate Solution. Hogan and Savage basically sold for the 2 actors, but they weren't selling for Ric Flair or you, Arn Anderson. Somewhere Vader was watching thinking, oh, so it wasn't just me. But the match was billed as 2 on 8, but it felt more like, I don't know. It was terrible. It was... We had powder, we had a loaded glove, we had frying pans, and this wasn't a cooking show, guys. This is a wrestling match. But it went from uncensored to unhinged when the Booty Man showed up with frying pans, and these weren't cast iron skillets. They were aluminum frying pans. The commentary, they were all in on the hype. Heenan said, "This surpasses the Super Bowl, the World Series." I mean, I thought somewhere Vince Lombardi just spit his drink out. I mean, what are we doing? Shivani's like, this is why we're the #1 in pay-per-view all around the world. I'm thinking #1 in making people call their cable company for refunds. Like, what are we doing here? It was just bad.
The shit just got deeper and deeper and deeper as it went. Further it went. I mean, come on. What is, you hit somebody with a cast iron skillet, okay, you're going to hurt them, but where does that fit in a wrestling match? It immediately turns it into ha-ha. Any seriousness or forgetting about the real fact that somebody, if they fall wrong on this and it busts loose and you go through to the floor or whatever the real risks were, it just stunk.
Listen, and at the end of it, it was really a weird, like Hogan almost. So Savage remembered, after Luger hits, I think he hits Flair with the loaded glove. He was supposed to act like he was hitting Savage. Savage ducks. He recocks his arm and then nails Flair, knocks Flair down. Savage goes around, they knock everybody else out. Hogan's like, come on, Randy, let's exit the ring. Randy's like, oh no, wait, someone remind him, I need to go pin Flair. The whole thing was delayed. He goes back in, pins him, and then they walk out and win. And it was like, oh my God, that was like the ugliest thing I've just seen. And if anyone asks why the triple decker cage never came back, guys, this is Exhibit A through Z. It just didn't work.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say. It's just
It's done. Hey, thank God. All I got to say is thank God that not too far in the distant future, a little thing called the NWO would be on its way.
Yeah, I mean, you kick dirt over the company on that night. Thank God that fans don't want it dead, or it would have been dead after that.
Well, Arn, it was funny because when we both logged on tonight and I said we were going to cover this event, you knew exactly what the Doomsday. Like sometimes I'll be like, hey, do you remember this or that? And you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's starting to come. This match, you were like, this was the drizzling shits. You remembered it like that.
There's no way to sugarcoat it, and I wouldn't put our audience through that. It just was not mapped out. It should have never happened. The end game, if you looked at what was going to happen, 2 guys beating 8 guys, And there were some heavy hitters in that 8 guys, you know.
Yeah.
Barbarian, you know. Come on.
And listen, as you watch this, guys and gals, and watch this back, or if you're watching it live with us, we know we're on a journey, right, through Arn's career. And there's going to be the fun stories and classic and great, but we're also going to hit moments like these, and we're going to cover them all. And this just happens to be one of the ones that we're not going to pull up on a Saturday night unless we have to, and pull the family in and say, let's rewatch the Doomsday match.
We won't watch that again. And Elegante will not be on the menu.
Unless it was like for someone that wanted to have excessive amounts and they figured out a party, like take a shot every time this happens, or, you know, unless you want to do it for that reason, I can't see any other reason to pull this up. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Let's go to the super chats. We got 2 of them. And listen, love all of you here. You guys have had so much fun. I'm just reading your comments in the chat. Darren Staley, where have you been, my friend? He said, how much have you all missed me? And how glad are you that I'm back? A lot of restructuring at work. And now I actually have free time again. Oh, boy. And we haven't asked Arn almost anything coming up in 2 weeks. And who knows what Darren's going to ask. But
we missed you, buddy. Good to have you back.
Good to have you back. We love it. Great to see you. Instagram, a wrestling historian. He chimes in, was this the worst WCW pay-per-view main event ever? I'd be hard-pressed to think of another one that could.
Nothing comes to mind that can touch this one. There's no redeeming quality to it. You can sit here and, yeah, but what if, or what if that, or what if this, or what if we did something? No, it was just start to finish horrific. That's it.
CG said, I don't think I could be paid big bucks to watch that match unless Arn, Paul, and a box of Hershey with almonds are all involved. It would take a lot for CG.
Has anybody noticed that you can buy a Hershey bar that doesn't have almonds, and the quality of the chocolate is not as creamy as the ones with almonds? And it's the same candy bar, just add almonds. Anybody ever noticed that or thought about it?
No, but man, it sounds like you've done some deep analysis in that.
That's my opinion. It's
creamier. The chocolate is creamier.
It is.
The almond version.
That's my take on it, and I really enjoy them.
Well, I think what we do is, I think that's homework for 2 weeks. When we come back on the 26th, we want all of you that can, who aren't, diabetic and aren't able, grab a Hershey with almonds and grab a regular Hershey bar and do a taste test. And we know, Efren, that you're all for the heavy cream. He said, I love creamier. And we're still talking about chocolate bars. But the Hershey, you got to get a Hershey bar and you got to get a Hershey with almonds. Do the taste test and let us know, is the Hershey with almonds creamier?
And I know chocolate, obviously.
Arn, you're looking good, my friend. When I saw you a year ago, you're down and you're looking good.
Doing my best, clawing my way back.
That's right, Darren Staley. He certainly does. Listen, we have 4 or 5 minutes left, and I want to make sure. Scotty Reed said the almonds is creamier, so he already did his own work. So there you go. 4 or 5 minutes left. Go ahead, Arn.
No, that's it. Validation.
Yeah. Daisy Mama said, I'm allergic to chocolate. Well, I guess you'll have to sit this one out, Daisy Mama, but we'll get you back in on something else. So no worries there. We don't want you breaking out in a rash or anything. So don't try it. Arn, did you ever wrestle? Carl Leffy was here. Wrestle in the UWF?
No, that was Bill Watts.
Yeah, Bill Watts, Mid-South, then transition.
Mid-South, but it wasn't the UWF. That was a different deal. Nope, never did.
Prior to them becoming UWF, becoming national, and which is pretty cool. Let's see, who else? You do look great, Arn, Ryan says. This is hilarious. What's your gym routine now? I say it's hilarious because I just asked him the same question before we jumped on.
Yeah. Just pretty simple. Just do chest day 1, shoulders day 2. Do about 15 to 20 sets, moderate weight. Next day, do shoulders. Same thing. Third day, back and arms, and then I don't train legs anymore. So start over, repeat the process, and whenever your body says take a day off, take a day off.
I love it, as you should. CG says, I don't have a sweet tooth. I have sweet teeth.
So he likes chocolate.
He likes it all, man. Oh, yeah. CG, I love it.
Yeah, I got a sweet tooth, period. You know, I will knock out a Krispy Kreme donut full of raspberry all day.
Efren says, Arn doing that Rick Rude workout, all upper body.
Yeah, this is true.
I love it. Know your limits. That's a good one. Aaron Phipps, Arn, how's your neck? I broke my neck in the Navy. How's yours doing?
No issues since I had the surgery, but the nerve damage in my left forearm and hand, pretty extensive. There's no way to have stopped that. But my neck, no issues lately. Mine's been more last few years, my lower back. That never gave me any issues till when I was wrestling, but started having some issues with that, and found a good chiropractor and got that straightened out, knock on wood. No complaints. Every time I start feeling sorry for myself, I'll run into Magnum somewhere or something and see what that guy's overcoming and what a tough son of a gun he is. Kind of makes you, quit feeling sorry for yourself because you don't have it nearly as bad as some guys.
I'll wrap this up with that similar comment. I watched this event and I mentioned the Brutus Beefcake, who was the booty man here. He took on Diamond Dallas Page, and it was fun little match that they had. Kimberly was involved, and I thought about how we just saw him a few weeks ago go up and get the award, and not for nothing, just like a lot of the wrestlers at this point in age, just getting up the stairs, hunched over, walking and all that. And it's another reminder. Ken Patera, who got up from a wheelchair to talk, the toll that wrestling and this sport has taken on all of your bodies. It was just reinforced to me that weekend, seeing so many that are moving so much slower. Maybe some are hunched over, need help with a cane or a wheelchair. And you did it for the fans, and you did it for our entertainment. And so, man, it just makes you grateful one more time just for what you've put your bodies through.
Well, and to be fair about it, I wouldn't have traded one day in the business for anything else. I knew the danger. We accept the danger. And even if you do everything right and you're as careful as you can be and as safe and all that, excuse me.
All good.
There's still danger out there lurking around every corner. And you look at that room the other night that we're in, like Ken Patera's first guy put 500 pounds over his head. God sakes, what kind of shape he was in at one time. And now he was in a wheelchair. It just reminds you that it's a tough business, and we all love it. And we respect everyone that makes it happen. And that's you guys. We appreciate you sticking with us.
Guys, gals, this has been another fantastic night sitting around the virtual living room of the one and only Arn Anderson. We get to spend this time with a legend. And when you see the love and respect, and I got to see it firsthand in Charlotte as people came to his table and talked to him, and the love and respect he shows the fans, it was just awesome to see in person. And Arn, I love you, man. And I'm so grateful that you've allowed me to help you and be a part of this whole thing. And I'm going to get to see it again, and I hope many of you in November at WrestleCade. So I can't wait to see you and Brock and down. Is Aaron coming along too for that one? Winston-Salem?
Oh yeah, she'll be there. And
Smokey.
And
Smokey. Get a little Smokey too.
It's my buddy.
Yeah. So listen, guys, gals, we'll be back together again in 2 weeks. So mark it on your calendars. Tuesday, August 26th, 2 weeks from tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's Ask Arn Almost Anything. And if you felt like, hey, I had some great stuff in the chat, I didn't get asked. Hey, that's what these shows are for. So make sure you come ready with your questions. We got to talk through his career tonight and get some questions in, but we'll do it again for the entire hour. And then keep an eye out. I got to talk to Magnum TA a little bit, and I said, hey, would love to have you on the Arn Show. Magnum said, Paul, I'm all in. So at some point, we'll get Magnum on here with you, Arn. We'll talk some old stories from the Crockett days and have a little bit of fun with Magnum. But I can't thank you all enough for being here, supporting Arn. Rob Hissam, as soon as you're done, go to the website. 10 book orders coming your way. I'm teasing. I'm kidding you. But we really appreciate your support. Don't forget to check out that book, though, in the Four Horsemen shop. And I know we'll appreciate that. But appreciate all of you. Arn, this has been a blast, my friend.
Well, and as usual, it's been your pleasure.
There you go. On behalf of the enforcer, Arn Anderson, this is Paul Bromwell, and we'll see you right back here next, well, in 2 Tuesdays on Arn.